Good morning. In the previous lecture, we arrived at 4 different equations. K dot E is equal to 0, K dot H is equal to 0. This result derived from this one. Using del dot T is equal to 0 in the solution of electrical component E and del dot H is equal to 0 in the solution of the magnetic component H, we arrived at K dot E is equal to 0 and K dot H is equal to 0. Dot product of these two is 0, it means that K and E are perpendicular to each other. Dot product of these two is also 0, it means that K and H are perpendicular to each other. It means that the electrical component E and magnetic component H both are perpendicular to K, the propagation vector, or E and H are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the plane electromagnetic wave. After that, we applied 2 more restrictions, third law and fourth law of Maxwell's theory. And what is third law? This one. Del cross E is equal to minus dou B by dou T. This is obtained as I into K cross E. This is equal to minus mu 0 dou H by dou T. This is further minus mu 0 dou by dou T of H0 e to the power I K dot R minus I omega T. Differentiating this, you will get H here. Differentiation of this will be 0, this will be minus I. So minus mu 0 into minus I omega into H. This minus minus will become plus. This I get cancelled, and what we have, K cross E is equal to mu 0 omega H. So let us write it here. K cross E is equal to mu 0 omega into H. I think it was equation number 32. And then using the same thing for fourth one. Del cross H is equal to J is 0 plus dou D by dou T is epsilon 0 dou E by dou T. This is for the epsilon 0 dou by dou T of E0 I K dot R minus I omega T. E0 constant, it will remain as it is. Differentiation of this part will be 0, minus I omega will come here, and here we will get E, and that is epsilon 0 into minus I omega into capital E. This del cross H is I into K cross H minus I epsilon 0 omega E, I get cancel, and the next equation we got here is this. So putting the restrictions of first law, first, second, third and fourth Maxwell's laws of electromagnetism, we got this equation, this equation, this equation, this equation. We have seen what is interpretation of this equation and what is the interpretation of this equation. Interpretation of this equation is K and E are perpendicular to each other. Interpretation of this is K and H are perpendicular to each other. It means that E and H both are perpendicular to the propagation vector K, that is the electrical component E and magnetic component H both are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the electromagnetic wave. After substituting the restrictions on the solutions of wave equations for electrical and magnetic component using Maxwell's third and fourth equation, we arrived at equation 32 and equation 33. K cross E, mu 0 omega is constant, is equal to H. It means that H is perpendicular to K and E. K and E, these two are coplanar vectors. Cross product of these two coplanar vectors is equal to vector H. Cross product of two vectors is always perpendicular to the two coplanar vectors in the cross product, and therefore according to equation 32, H is perpendicular to K, H is also perpendicular to E. According to equation 33, E is perpendicular to K, E is perpendicular to H. So when we consider this equation, this equation, this equation, this equation, what conclusion we can draw? The restrictions put by Maxwell's equations on the electromagnetic wave propagation is that the electrical and magnetic component E and H both are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the electromagnetic wave from these two equations. And from these two equations, E and H both are perpendicular to each other. E and H are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of wave. At the same time, they are perpendicular to each other. H perpendicular to E, H perpendicular to K, E perpendicular to H, E perpendicular to K. It means that whenever we consider propagation of a plane electromagnetic wave, its electrical and magnetic component E and H are perpendicular to each other and also perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the plane electromagnetic wave. It means that the vectors E, H, K, it means that the vectors E, H, K form a set of orthonormal vectors, a set of orthogonal. The vectors E, H, K form a set of orthogonal vectors which can be represented by a right-handed coordinate system, and that is the vectors E, H, K form a set of orthogonal vectors which can be represented by a right-handed coordinate system. If this axis represents the vector E, this axis represents the vector H, then this axis represents the vector K. It is known as three mutually perpendicular vectors represented by right-handed coordinate system, and these three vectors form a set of orthogonal vectors. Okay. After having this idea about the propagation of plane electromagnetic wave, let us consider equation 32. Let me consider further equation 32. Equation 32 is this: K cross A is equal to mu 0 omega into H, or I may further write this equation as H is equal to 1 divided by mu 0 omega into K cross A. This is nothing but 1 divided by mu 0 omega into small k into the normal unit vector cross E. But what is K by omega? K by omega is C. We have seen earlier in the same article. And therefore, I may further put vector H is equal to 1 divided by mu 0 C vector n cross vector E. Equation number 34, and reason here is K divided by omega is equal to 1 divided by C, where C is the speed of propagation of light energy. Equation 34 is written in vector form. If we take modulus of equation 34 in moduli, if we take modulus of equation 34, this modulus will be given by H, now it is scalar, is equal to 1 divided by mu 0 C, it is also scalar, into E. Equation number 35. Modulus of equation 34 is this: all quantities in equation 35 are scalar quantities. Then the ratio of modulus of E and H, the ratio of modulus of E and H may be is equal to S taken to this side, mu 0 C to this side is equal to mu 0 C. This is equal to mu 0, and from the same article, we got equation for C is equal to 1 divided by square root of mu 0 epsilon 0. So for this C, let me put this thing here: 1 divided by mu 0 epsilon 0, this value of C. If this mu 0 is taken inside, it will be mu 0 square divided by mu 0 epsilon 0 inside the square root. This mu 0 get cancelled with the square, and what left is E divided by H is equal to, you can also write this as E0 divided by H0 is equal to simply square root of mu 0 divided by epsilon 0. You may call this as Z0, equation number 36. So taking ratio of modulus of electrical component to magnetic component, we got mu 0 C, but from the same article, C is 1 divided by square root of mu 0 epsilon 0. If we put this value of C here, this will be the equation. Take this mu 0 inside, mu 0 square divided by mu 0 epsilon 0, this square get cancelled with this mu 0, and what we got? modulus of E by H is equal to modulus of E0 by H0 is equal to square root of mu 0 by epsilon 0, that is Z0, equation number 6. Now let us see what is the dimension of this Z0. E, intensity of the electric field, is measured in volt per meter. E, intensity of the electric field is measured in volt per meter. H, intensity of the magnetic field is measured in ampere turn per meter. Meter from these two will get cancelled, and unit of this Z0 will be volt divided by ampere, and that is nothing but omega. Let us try to find value of this E by H or Z0. That can be what is mu 0? 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. What is epsilon 0? It is 1 divided by 4 pi into 9 into 10 to the power 9. Put these values here. Mu 0, 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 divided by epsilon 0, 1 by this. So 1 divided by 4 pi into 9 into 10 to the power 9. This is denominator of denominator, so it will be numerator. 4 pi 16 pi square into 9 10 to the power into 9 into this 10 to the power 9 will come here as it is, 10 to the power 9 into 10 to the power minus 7. Square root of 16 pi square is 4 pi, square root of 9 is 3, 10 to the power 9 into 10 to the power minus 7, 10 to the power 2, that is 100, and square root of 100 is 10, and so this is 10 3 is a 30, 34 is a 120, and therefore this modulus of E by H is 120 pi omega, equation number 37. Ratio of modulus of electrical component to magnetic component of the plane electromagnetic wave is 120 pi omega or 120 pi ohm. Equation 37. It means that V by A is equal to ohm, or the ratio of modulus of electrical component to magnetic component is equivalent to impedance Z0. What you written this as Z0, where here we have written this as Z0. It is impedance. Volt divided by ampere, it is ohm. The unit of resistance or impedance, here is no pure resistance because it is the free space. Therefore, we shall call this as impedance Z0. So, impedance Z0 here is taken as 120 pi ohm. This impedance Z0 is known as wave impedance of the free space. Whenever plane electromagnetic wave is transmitted through free space, the wave impedance offered by the free space to the propagation of the plane electromagnetic wave is 120 pi ohm. 120 pi ohm. Ratio of these two is a positive quantity. As ratio of these two is a positive quantity, it means that relative magnitudes of E and H are same at all points at all times. Ratio of these two is a positive quantity. It means that E and H are in phase. E and H are in phase. Therefore, ratio of modulus of these two is a positive quantity. It means that the amplitudes, the relative amplitudes of E and H when the plane electromagnetic wave is propagating, relative amplitudes of E and H at all points and at all times will be same. It means that relative amplitudes of E and H are same at all points at all times. This can be shown with the help of this figure. For this, let me draw a figure. With the help of this figure, we can show that relative amplitudes of E and H are same at all points and at all times when the plane electromagnetic wave is propagating. And the figure that we have to use for this purpose is so this way we can show the right-handed coordinate system represented by three orthogonal vectors E, H, K, and this is the propagation of plane wave with the help of the components electrical component E and magnetic component H, which are always perpendicular to each other, at the same time perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the electromagnetic wave. E, H perpendicular to each other, at the same time E and H are perpendicular to K, and this is K, the direction of propagation of the plane electromagnetic wave. One more thing that can be concluded from these relations is that what is value of B? B is equal to mu 0 H for the free space. But what is mu 0? This one, 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 H. And what is E by H? 120 pi. E by H is 120 pi. It means that this E is much larger than H. From this equation and this equation, let me write this equation as equation number 38. From equations 37 and 38, we find that E by H is a positive quantity, a large number, and therefore this E must be greater than H. It means that when we find the ratio of electrical component E to electrical component H in a plane electromagnetic wave, this ratio comes out to be a positive large number, it means that modulus of E is much greater than H, and therefore in electromagnetic energy, in electromagnetic wave, the electrical component is very important as compared to the magnetic component of the electromagnetic wave. From these two equations 37 and 38, we can conclude that E is much more than H, and therefore the electrical component of an electromagnetic wave is more important, is very important as compared to the magnetic component of the electromagnetic wave. Okay, so these things can be studied from the orthogonality of three vectors E, H and K, and also from the ratio of moduli of the electrical component E and the magnetic component H. Let me summarize what we have studied in this article, because this is the third lecture. This is a much big article. This is third lecture. I am doubtful whether we can complete this in the third lecture. We may need to go for even fourth lecture. While studying this article, we started with the Maxwell equations for linear medium. Del dot D is equal to rho, del dot B is equal to 0, del cross A is equal to minus dou B by dou T, del cross H is equal to J plus dou D by dou T, and for the linear medium B is equal to mu H, D is equal to epsilon E, J is equal to sigma E, charge density is equal to rho. We wrote some 8 equations, right? After that, we wanted to find the electromagnetic equation for the plane electromagnetic wave in free space, and therefore we have to write Maxwell equations for free space. For writing Maxwell's equations for free space, we have to modify the equations we wrote earlier for B, D, J and rho for free space. For free space, B is equal to, instead of mu H, mu 0 H. D is equal to, instead of epsilon E, epsilon 0 E. J is 0 because the free space is non-conducting. Conductivity sigma is 0. Therefore, J is 0. There are no free charges in the free medium, in the free space, and therefore rho is also 0. So, using B is equal to mu 0 H, D is equal to epsilon 0 E, J is equal to 0, rho is equal to 0, the Maxwell's 4 equations were modified, and these Maxwell's 4 equations are then written for the free space. Then by the mathematical manipulation, taking curl of the third Maxwell equation, we got one equation. Taking curl of fourth Maxwell equation, we got another equation. And after putting the vector identities, curl of curl A is equal to grad of divergence of A minus del square A, we got two equations, which are the wave equations for the electromagnetic wave for electrical component E and magnetic component H. We compared this equation, these two equations with the general wave equation, del square U minus 1 by V square dot 2U by dot T square is equal to 0, and we derived the solutions for electrical component E, magnetic component H and the scalar component U. E is equal to E0 e to the power ik dot r minus I omega t, H is equal to H0 e to the power ik dot r minus I omega t, U is equal to U0 e to the power ik dot r minus I omega t, where this E, H and U are functions of r and t. Then putting the restrictions from Maxwell's first and second equation, we got del dot E is equal to del dot E is equal to 0, del dot H is equal to 0. With these restrictions, we got the equations k dot E is equal to 0 and k dot H is equal to 0, from which the conclusion we drawn is E and H both are perpendicular to k. K is a wave propagation vector, the vector along the direction of propagation of the electromagnetic energy. And therefore, from these two equations, we conclude that electrical component E and magnetic component H both are perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the wave. After that, we substituted the restrictions on this plane electromagnetic wave according to Maxwell's third and fourth equations, from which we obtained k cross H is equal to mu 0 omega E, and this k cross E is equal to minus epsilon 0 omega into H. And from these two equations, we come to the conclusion that E is perpendicular to H as well as perpendicular to K, H is perpendicular to E as well as perpendicular to K, and therefore from these equations we come to conclude that the electrical and magnetic component E and H of the electromagnetic waves are mutually perpendicular to each other at the same time. These two are also perpendicular to the direction of propagation of the plane electromagnetic wave. After having drawn these conclusions, then we moved to get the moduli of equation H is equal to 1 by mu 0 omega into E. After modulus, we got this. From this, we obtained ratio of modulus of E to modulus of H, which was Z0. This Z0 is ratio of volt per meter to ampere turn per meter, and it comes out to be ohm. By putting the values of mu 0 and epsilon 0, we got value of Z0, E by H is equal to 120 pi ohm, and we come to know that ratio of modulus of electrical component E to magnetic component H of the electromagnetic field is equivalent to impedance, and this impedance is known as the wave impedance of the free space, the impedance offered by the free space for propagation of the plane electromagnetic wave. As ratio of these moduli is positive, E and H are in the same phase. It means that relative amplitudes of E and H are same at all points at all times when the plane electromagnetic wave is propagating in one direction, which is shown in this figure with the help of the three orthogonal vectors E, H and K. E and H perpendicular to each other, at the same time E and H are perpendicular to K. These are the amplitudes, relative amplitudes of E and H. One more thing, we got Z0 E by H is equal to this, and here we have got B is equal to this. B is very small, as it is clear from equation 38. Okay, so of course H is also very small. If we take E by H, the ratio is a large positive quantity. It means that the component E, electrical component E, is much greater than the magnetic component H in the plane electromagnetic wave. Or in other words, the electrical component is very important than the magnetic field component in the electromagnetic wave, in the plane electromagnetic wave. This conclusion can be drawn from equations 37 and 38. Much part of this article is still left. Now we have to find in the same article what should be the Poynting vector and what should be the time average value of this Poynting vector for the plane electromagnetic wave, one thing. After that we have to go for the comparison of electrostatic and magnetic energy densities for the plane electromagnetic wave, and we have to compare them. If I continue these two remaining part in this lecture only, it will be somewhat big one, or it will become much larger. So better if we consider the Poynting vector and the ratios of electrostatic and magnetic energy densities in the next lecture, so that we can complete this article, the last article, which is much bigger one, which required 4 lectures for us to complete. The fourth lecture, next lecture, will be again a full lecture where we shall complete the Poynting vector, time average value of Poynting vector, the comparison of the energy densities, electrostatic and magnetic, and the summarization of the whole article. I hope you got all these things. Thank you.